Ladies and gentlemen, you're not tuned into the hottest show in the world. This is Saucy Conversations. This is episode 11. Bringing us in, it's Jim Jones featuring Fat Joe, NYC, off that El Capo album. Check it out. Yes, ladies and gents, that was Jim Jones versus Fat Joe, NYC. We are live from NYC, Brooklyn Podcast Studios, and it's hot as hell outside. It's like Zimbabwe outside. Shout out to Jim Jones and Fat Joe for the hot ass song representing NYC. It's your boy Jeff, the host of Saucy Conversations. This is episode 11. You know, we one episode away from my anniversary episode. You know what I'm saying? Yes, so I got my gracious co-host is with me. Say what up.
What up, what up, what up? Hey, what's up, everybody? Damn, it is right. You heard Jeff say it's hot out. It really is hot out. I ain't gonna bullshit you. I'm sitting here drinking lemonade. I mean, come on now. So
Spike.
Anyway, spiked lemonade. Hey, it's your boy Young Dad coming at your ass again. On the other side, show 11. Good to be back. So, yeah, good to be back.
Right. And I got some Saucy alumni with me. Say what up to the Saucy people.
What up? It's your girl, Kat. Glad to be back.
Meow like a motherfucker.
Hey man, this is Zuba, repping Queens.
Queens in the house.
Hope everybody out there stay hydrated, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's hot as hell out there.
Thanks for having me.
And we got a special guest. This is my brother, one of the hottest bartenders in NYC, period.
Stop it.
You know what I'm saying? This is my boy, Mike Wilson. Welcome to Saucy Conversations, my brother.
What's up?
Thank you for having
What's
me.
up, buddy?
Just to make a small alteration, I'm not a bartender, I'm a mixologist, all right? When drinks hit this hand, it's mastery going on, right? It's not just me mixing two things together.
You're
you know?
updated.
Not as long as my drink is good.
Oh, it's too good.
Yo, welcome to the show, buddy Mike, in the house. You know what I'm saying? So, this is episode 11, so we got a lot to get into today, but we want to send a special shout out to Vernice. Vernice couldn't be out today, so she got something special to do. So shout out to Vernice. No, Mack is on his way out. I don't think he want to make it, but if he does, y'all will hear him on this episode. But we're gonna get into a couple of topics real quick. So we're gonna talk about. Let's get to R. Kelly real quick. Just get this shit out of the way. It's breaking news. R. Kelly, we know the charges and everything, but it has been reported that people in his inner circle, had turned in some tapes, sex tapes,
More tapes.
into the FBI or local officials. So
What's on the tapes? Him doing freaky shit.
him doing freaky shit with underage
girls.
women.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. So
Supposedly unbeknown.
So I just want to get everybody on the panel opinion about the update on R. Kelly. Who want to go first?
It's sad. I don't know. No, anybody can.
All right,
So who got money got it?
As far as I'm concerned, we all knew that R. Kelly was a little messed up in the head, and this is no new news to anybody.
Right.
I think the whole bringing it out to the FBI is really not going to do anything but destroy more of the black image in my perspective. Like, they just want to criminalize him and lock him up and hit him with these fees. Honestly, this brother's fucked up in the head. Somebody need to give him some real counseling and talk to the people who were around him, because honestly, they let all of this go down for like so long. It's not my job or your job as the CD buyers and music followers to be following him and making sure he's not acting up to people who's in his circle. Like, they didn't care, and now you want me to throw an outrage because you want to finally be like, oh, we're victims too because we didn't tell, we felt bad. Like, I ain't got no sympathy for him. Like, he needs to get some counseling, and they should move on to the next topic because in my perspective, there's a lot of Caucasian Americans that do the same thing, that are just still walking free, throw a little bit of money out there, and it's swept under the rug.
Facts.
But you want to drag him through and through. Like, this doesn't make sense to me.
Facts.
That's true. That's true.
My
Kat?
opinion.
What do you think, Kat?
I had to do a little bit of research because every time that I hear something about R. Kelly, it just seems like a cry for help. And it brings more things to the surface that unfortunately they can't be hidden anymore.
Right.
So in a sense, I agree with Mike. I mean, the people that were around him, they should have been the ones to kind of put him in place and tell him, okay, like, this is getting out of control. Like, this needs to be taken care of.
Facts.
But then at the same time,
They're enablers, I mean, you know what I mean? People enable people because
They enabled
he's making
him.
the money. He's he's the breadwinner. He's got the fame, and so who's gonna tell him no? Like, I mean, to cut you off, but who's gonna tell Michael Jackson and any of those people who are abusing or allegedly abusing kids, underage women, or I don't even think you can put underage and woman in the same sentence. I think if you underage, your ass is a girl. Not to be like that.
underage
But,
girls.
Yeah, underage girls. You know what I mean?
Underage girls.
So I'm saying.
But then at the same time, in referencing to the cultural image, I feel like, in a sense, he kind of brought this upon himself as well, because he didn't think that it would catch up to him. So I feel like the responsibility goes both ways. He should be the one to be able to acknowledge it, but at the same time, the people who covered up for him, they should be held accountable just as much as him.
Oh yeah, I'm
as
gonna get to
him.
that in a minute.
Yeah,
Who's next?
Yeah, me absolutely. You know what? I think crazy ass behavior like that is learned. You know what I mean? I think we all come out as like blank canvases and shit like that. So wherever R. Kelly got the old abusive type of behavior from, I think it was learned. I think somebody was like having him bend over and things like that when he was younger, and so those things are learned behavior, and so the cycle of abuse just continues, and I think that at this point, I think he does need some help. You know what I mean? Mental illness is on the top of everybody's agenda, along with security and things
Mental
like
health
that.
in general.
Yeah, mental health in general. So does he need it? Absolutely, he does. Should he be held accountable for for his past transgressions? I think he should, because I think he knew right from wrong. You know what I mean? And I think that's what it comes down to. Right from wrong, and that when you're dealing with a young girl, like when you get on the phone and shit, and a 13-year-old girl is always a cop. The hitman is always a cop. So you gotta fucking know better than that, and you can't be so egotistical or braggadocious that you think your money gonna insulate you from being held accountable, and so now the roosters are come home, or the chickens will come home, or whatever the fuck the saying is. But yeah, come to roost. So he's gonna have to be held accountable for that shit. That's all it is, and God bless him and his family and all them people like that, because he's gonna have to jump through some hoops and shit. So
Yeah, I think everybody hit some solid points. I think, it's almost getting this is almost turning into a comedy now. Some reports have said that he has almost 18 tapes or something like
More
that.
than that.
More than that.
Some on like VCR tapes.
Right, exactly.
I know it's the early 90s. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is way past just somebody with a little problem. This is somebody who's
Maxwell.
a serious
This is a serious cry for help.
serious cry for help.
Yeah.
And I do believe that he does need help, but
Right.
I think that we can't forget the victims. Especially when you see some of these girls. I've seen some of the interviews that Gayle King interviewed
Exactly.
with R. Kelly and some of the girls that live with R. Kelly. I heard that during one of the interviews, he was outside of the interview room coughing out loud just to make sure that the girls who were being interviewed by Gayle King heard him. Just
That's
to let them know
intimidation.
that's
That's
a tactic.
intimidation.
That's like a predator kind of
That's a pimp.
strategy. That's
That's
pimp
shit.
moves right there. Exactly. So yeah, I do believe that he needs some help, but the victims can't be forgotten. So
Right.
yeah.
All right, it's my turn.
Get him.
Damn, really? Go ahead.
Get him.
I ain't
waiting for
defending
it.
R. Kelly or nothing like that.
Right.
Okay. we know R. Kelly has a problem,
No shit.
right? We all seen the Gayle King interview with him lashing out and the makeup falling from his face and all that. We all know R. Kelly got problems. But damn it, my focus is on the people who turned in the tapes. You've been cashing checks all these years from R. Kelly, and now you want to turn in the tapes? When you turn the blind eye and you actually cash a check at a check cashing place? Are you kidding me? If I was the DA, I would turn everybody ass in. Everybody is going to jail.
Aiding and abetting, right?
So everyone is going to be held.
Honestly,
There's no debating.
Is what it is.
that's kind of what I
There's
was
no
getting
because
ready
you
to
know
say.
the whole time what was going on in his household.
That's true.
But you turned the blind eye and you went to your local bank and cashed your check with that man's name on your check. Everybody is going to jail.
If this is a drug operation,
unbanked.
like it doesn't matter if you're the drug dealer or the person who runs the drugs, like everybody involved is going to jail. So why
Everybody
should it
is
be no
going to
different?
jail.
It's like a murder, yeah.
Everybody.
If you hide the gun,
Right.
If you gave him the gun,
Even if you
you're
smell it.
yeah,
If you
yeah.
smell
You
it,
going to
yeah,
jail.
it's
You
in.
bought it.
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
It should be
There's
the
no
same
excuse
thing.
for
I
this.
agree.
I mean, besides the fact that these girls were coming from out of country, they was running their own sex trafficking. I mean, they knew what was going to happen to these girls when they
Exactly.
got there. They helped manipulate these parents into letting them
exactly.
go
The
or whatever the
family-
case may be. Or the parents knew
From-
what was up. They
But-
seen it
The
happen.
cleaner
and
all the way
didn't do
to
nothing.
the first family member that was involved with R. Kelly, they knew what the fuck was going on. So for you to say, "Oh yeah, here's the tape. Here you go," no motherfucker, you going right under the jail with R. Kelly, and that's me. I'm a fair person, right? So it's all about being fair,
Right.
okay?
Right.
If you had something to do or was involved in the situation, because the FBI is very slick. You know, that's why they had a conviction rate like 95% or whatever it is.
talk to
Okay?
people in.
Because they have something on these people. So they must have, my opinion, I don't know, but my opinion is that they went to these people that was working with R. Kelly, like, look here, we need some evidence here. So we need to know where these tapes are at, and you need to turn these tapes in, or you going to jail.
Yeah, get them all
Flip
Or if you turn these tapes in, you're not going to jail, or you might have to testify.
Or cut
And
a
that's how
deal.
the FBI
Or
works.
cut a
Cut
deal.
a deal, yeah.
Exactly. They cut a deal with the FBI or the district attorney. And from my point of view of this, all of them need to go to jail. All.
I agree. I mean, if they can prove that people if people did know that this Tupperware fucking tapes were like hidden somewhere, or treasure troves of fucking mud or something was somewhere underneath some old Foot Locker or something like that. Yeah, you
Like,
should be.
even the brother knew that he was fucking Aaliyah at 15 years old.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like,
But that
come on.
okay.
Right.
It's very.
Don't hold back.
You know what it is? There's two sides to a story. And I feel like as much as responsible as the people that were around him who did this, I feel like now that with the whole trial and the indictments, the witnesses and the victims that were part of this, they also have a right to have a say in what's going on, just as much.
They do, but most of the victims are brainwashed.
And
if
that's-
you really pay attention, like, oh no,
And they're brainwashed.
He's not a
But where does
rapist
that
and
come
none of
from?
that shit.
Where does that come
That
from?
comes from so
Well, they
you
probably
can't
traumatized.
you can't actually take them seriously
I mean,
because at the end of the day, they're gonna defend R. Kelly.
It came from their parents.
They're not gonna be on their parents' side. They're gonna be on
So
R.
you
Kelly's side.
think-
That's why he was
No, but
COVID.
I'm saying their parents.
If they
Their
were
parents are the
brainwashed,
first
if they
people
were
to
brainwashed and all
brainwash
that,
them.
you think they were
Brainwashed.
brainwashed or like money washed?
They
I mean, you know what I mean?
brainwashed.
Well, the
That-
parents
goes both
were
ways.
money washed.
They've been to a
Both.
point so much
Kids
that
got
they really
It's both.
The
cannot
victims?
tell the truth, or
It's both.
have they been compensated so much
The
that
victims-
they choose
The
not
parents got money washed, and the
Some of them
kids
got
got
money.
brainwashed.
Some of them got money. The victims are brainwashed, right?
Yes.
Some of the parents got money, right? So, what I'm saying is that, listen, whoever's involved in this, yo ass
Somebody
ain't
going
going
to
to
jail.
jail.
Yeah. Somebody going to
All right,
jail.
It's no excuse
It's
of it.
catching up.
There's no
Everything
excuse.
is
On the rope
catching
and all
up.
that shit.
It's catching up.
There's
You
no
can't run from
excuse.
it.
I'll be happy.
At one hand, you cannot say, "Oh, okay, my son is being conducted by R. Kelly," and at the same hand, you collecting a check for him. That's fucking wrong.
But you know what?
You pimping your daughter out.
When Wiener and all the rest of these cats started going down, R. Kelly had to know that they was coming after his ass. I mean, you know what I mean? Because, you know, whether or not it was, you know, present day transgressions or past transgressions, you knew that he knew that somebody, like, they went and got Matt Lauer. They went and got all the rest of these ones. They got a lot of people. Now they got this guy, what's the guy's, the late, Epstein. They got his ass. The only one that made off was the Kraft. He's the only motherfucker that with money that now, of all these people that's been brought in that got off, he didn't even have to appear in court. He was just down there, excuse my language, buying pussy from some little, you know, supposed to be massage thing and all that. So he got off. Big money got off. Big white money got off. But R. Kelly and obviously this Epstein ain't got enough cash, you know, because I think he's going to do some time.
And that's another element to the story. Is you got the Weinsteins and all them, and how you hardly hear from them on CNN and all these major news networks. But when R. Kelly or Bill Cosby come up, breaking news.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, you know,
it's disgusting.
They can always
It's the narrative.
It's disgusting.
It's the narrative of the media. It's it's what's gonna catch the most attention and is what's gonna build the most hype. And then that's what's gonna attract the most attention from the people to be like, oh, now this is happening. Why are they saying this now? Because of the Me Too movement? Because of this?
Right, it's the same.
It's
it's like, because the Harvey Weinstein, it's kind of like the same thing. Like, Harvey Weinstein wasn't personally calling these aspiring actresses to come up to his room. Like, he had assistants and secretaries who took these.
It was a system.
Yeah, and it was a system. Like, everybody knew what was up, and they passed people to Harvey Weinstein knowing what was happening. So, like you said, the narrative is it's different, but it's the same.
Speaking of narrative, did you hear about the Kevin Spacey case? Kevin.
Wait, they dropped the charges?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, are you serious?
They dropped the charges.
Yes.
I saw the headlines the other day.
The victim was unavailable.
Wow.
Out of the blue?
Oh yeah, you know you got to check. You know you got to check.
Got paid off.
You got paid off.
Got paid off most likely, or intimidated.
Wow.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you one last thing on the R. Kelly thing is that the reason R. Kelly, the reason his like case is so prevalent in our face is because the way he stacks up in current events and like in the social aspect of life now, you know. Because he is a pop star, you know what I mean? Because he is on the radio.
He's relevant.
Because he's irrelevant. Because he is a man of color. You know what I mean?
And he still has good hits.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
And
so,
it's hard to separate the two
so
sometimes.
these other guys, will they go down? I don't know if they will or not, but you know, they aren't just as in pop culture as he is, and that's why anybody, you know, the higher you are, the longer fall of grace is going to be.
They said it in the documentary of him, like he has the graduation to it. I Believe I Can Fly.
Mm-hmm.
He has the bed sheets with all of the sex. You know,
he
the sex
doesn't even own that song. That's why he's so broke.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not doing business in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who would have thought that R. Kelly wouldn't own I Believe I Can Fly?
Mm-hmm.
His biggest hit.
That was his big.
Just that song alone is sung at every graduation in the world.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
And for you not to own it, for you to give up the rights to whoever owns that shit,
Right.
first of all, it's wrong for the other person to own that shit because you fucking wrote it. But, you know, this is why you can't bail yourself out when it comes to certain situations like this, because you don't have any fucking money.
But you know, let me say this.
Wait.
Now that's something that R. Kelly should have fucking learned from like the earlier days of like, you know, New Edition and all those early '80 bands that was signing all their rights over. You know, here's $250,000 signing bonus.
He claims that he can't read or write, though.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
He claims that he
How
can't
can he
read or write.
claim that's his song
Well,
when
people around him gotta
he
know
says
that.
that it can? I'm
Kelly?
sorry.
No.
How can he claim that that's his song when they say that he can't even read?
Right.
All right.
Oh, right.
That doesn't matter because there's
He
a lot of
just
people that
sings
can't
But
read
that
or write
does
real song.
matter.
No,
because they can
no.
easily take advantage of that and then use it for themselves.
I understand that, but it's putting the right people around you. So if the right people around you know that you can't read or write,
Exactly. No, they take advantage of that.
right. But what I'm saying is that for R. Kelly, see, around the New Edition time, R. Kelly came around like 90, 91, 92, with, you know, so that's around the New Edition, you know, BBD and all that. So, you know, everybody was getting jerked at that
Right.
time.
Everybody was going for the signing bonus and
everybody didn't
and the
start
condo.
getting business wise
TLC
to like the
and-
late '90s, early 2000s.
Mhm.
You know, everybody was coming independent and all that stuff. So we get that part. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like R. Kelly's broke. The last time he went to court, a local businesswoman had to bail him out.
Damn.
He just asked for a computer in prison because he has to finish his album because he doesn't have any money. Like the attorney asked for him to get a laptop in his cell
That's sad.
because he can't
Do you
afford
think he's,
anything.
do you think he's trying to hold on to like that last bit of fame?
Definitely.
Well, it's that, and also he need money.
Yeah, I was gonna
Where's-
say, I don't even
where's all
think it's
his money
about
at?
the
I mean,
fame right now.
where's his
He
money
wants to
tied
be
up?
out of the
Housing
spotlight.
and houses. I mean, are there bad investments? on
He
his
has
books,
property,
or-
but we don't know much about the property.
Yeah.
We know he got studios in Chicago. He has a Trump apartment in Chicago.
Okay.
But we don't. He got an apartment in LA and all like that. But we don't know his his whole financial thing
Right,
about
right,
that.
right.
But when it came to that court date and for him to be bailed out,
Yeah.
he ain't had no money to bail himself out.
And then supposedly someone paid his child support anonymously.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yes.
who is this mysterious person who paid his child support?
That
$161,000.
mysterious person is hooked on
He
R.
needs
Kelly.
R. Kelly needs some fucking money and a hug. I ain't bullshit. That's for real.
Right. So speaking of need a hug, Trump.
Oh,
He needs more than a hug.
yeah, he need a fucking bear hug.
There's a lot.
Body
Yo.
wise,
There's a lot.
He need a grizzly bear hug.
He needs something. But lately, Trump been in the news, with the A$AP Rocky. He tried to free A$AP Rocky and all that stuff. Yeah, he tried to get some black points. So I
Free
get you.
A$AP.
Okay. But he also told a congresswoman, you need to go back where you come from if you don't like it here. So my question to the panel, is Trump racist?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Yes.
Is there anyone to argue?
I think
that?
that's
Not
obvious.
paying attention.
I think,
think that's
it's
obvious.
It's obvious.
The only
Are you
thing he
kidding
doesn't
me?
have, the only thing that he doesn't wear around is the fucking sheet in the hood.
Well, what
And I'm
He's
quite
racist.
sure you got to change to that
the sad
at the crib.
the sad thing is that I've read a couple of articles where they've talked to a number of his fans, and that's exactly why they like him. Like,
Oh, because he's racist.
because he's racist.
And he's
Yeah.
vocal about
And
it.
he's vocal about it. He's saying what a lot of people will go on these interviews, a lot of regular a lot of these citizens will go on these interviews and talk and say all the right things, but when they get in that voting booth, they'll vote for Trump because he says what they think behind closed doors. And that's his secret.
It's a damn shame.
Everybody wants to-
That's why he's in office right now.
Yeah, it's
Fuck him.
just a damn shame, man. It really is. Like, it's almost to the point, like, I still look up watching CNN and shit like that, and I'm still shocked that he's the fucking president, man. This is unreal. I mean, we couldn't have picked a worse guy. I mean, I
tell you
don't know
one
how
thing.
many people out there. Bozo could have did a fucking better job.
I tell you one thing, the
This is
Simpsons
one
are
for the
right.
books.
The Simpsons was right.
This is
But
one for
I
the
gotta tell you
books.
something. But I gotta tell you something. As unprecedented as it is for him to be in office, the response for him getting out of office and after he leaves office is gonna be equal to that. You don't blow up. You don't light a firecracker and get a fucking massive explosion. And so you're not gonna have him doing what he's doing, telling people that to go back to where you're from, and I can shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and can't go to jail, and just wearing his straight up racism on his sleeve without a real viable equal response. And
Right.
so that pissed off everybody, man. And now he's going after the Somalians. I lived in Minnesota. And outside of Somalia, they have the probably biggest concentrations of Somalians in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say he not fuck with the wrong people, because he not fuck with the wrong people all the way through. But I think somebody's gonna do some seriously bodily harm to him. It may not be when he's in office. It may be when he gets out. But he will get gotten, and it's a damn
Right.
shame. And I've said this all along, if they don't get him, they're gonna get somebody real near and dear to him, which is gonna be a fucking shame based on his stupid ass behavior. It's a
Anybody
shame.
else want to comment on Trump?
I was just, and to me, it's not even so much as like what he's doing himself. It's the poison he's putting out in this community and in our nation right now. I don't understand how. I mean, how all the Caucasian Americans can walk around and be promoting such ignorance and racism, and then go into their jobs or going around all these people and think there'll never be a back. Like on some real shit, I get nervous around white people. Like if you're down with this asshole right now saying that we should go back to our countries or treating Puerto Ricans like shit or the Mexicans locking them up in cages and you're okay with this, I feel threatened myself.
A serious problem.
Like and honestly, if he, and the worst part to me honestly is like with all of this nonsense that's going. I mean, okay, you take Nixon with his Watergate stealing from the country. You take Bill Clinton getting some head while he's in office. This man has done wild, crazy. We still believe he's sold out our country. He's still there. I mean, when he's out, I don't know what's coming next. Something way worse. Well, yeah, or is it going to be something completely opposite? Like, I don't think we're going to have some, what are they called?
Race war?
No, not the race war is actually, I personally think it's going on the low right now, every day. Like, I'm prepared for it.
I think the response is going to be something totally to the left of what he's doing because, you know, it is an awakening to see that, you know, all of these people in America, I don't know how many millions of people, you know, feel the way that this guy does. That's shocking to me. But you know what? It's an eye opener. So, you know, I'd rather your ass be prejudiced in front of me, so I know how to deal with you. So now I know how to deal with you. We can move on now.
And that's why people like him.
Yeah, whether he gets another 4 years or not, he can only last, if he gets another 4 years, he gets another 4 years. But then after this shit is done, we collectively, when I say we, people that are to the left and people that don't adhere to that crazy ass neo-Nazi shit that he's talking about, we're going to know how to deal with that group and that population of people. And if it comes down to a race war, it will, because I'll be damned if America's going to sit up and take that many steps backwards. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I can't agree with that.
To me, I really think that when I saw this and I found out about it, the first thing that I thought of was, does he see these women as a threat to him, to his ego? He sees
everybody as a threat to him.
He sees everyone as a threat, but does he see these women as a threat to his ego?
Yeah.
That's why people like him.
That's a good point. Because they're afraid.
Because he emboldens them to really speak out their true nature, their true color. So it's like you said, it's better to be prejudiced in front of someone instead of hiding it behind their back, and then Lord knows what the hell will happen. So to me, it's we're just looking for someone to replace him, someone that is not like him.
Right. No, it's gonna be somebody different. I cannot.
Do we really think that Trump is going to be replaced in 2020?
It's possible.
Or we get another 4 years.
No, what's going to happen is that,
is
to your point, when you say people on the left are looking at Trump and are going to respond in the next election, you can look back 4 years prior during Obama's 8 years and say the same thing about people on the other side who says that they weren't looking at Obama and say, yo, next election, shit is going to be different.
Totally different.
Right? Yep. Which is partially how we got Trump. So it starts, the change has to start with the people. We got 50% on two different extremes. And it's just, if we're going to be taking turns putting two different types of people in office, I mean, it's just going to be a crazy couple of decades coming up.
And I mean, the train of thought I was on. Okay, so I get what you're saying about the people being racist in front of you and just wearing it on their sleeves rather than keeping it behind your back. And that's all fine and dandy, but really quick, all of the racist people seem to be Caucasian people, and they're lashing out with no real response from us. We can't do anything, actually. Or it becomes a whole, the blacks are acting up, or the blacks are going crazy, or we need to imprison more people for no reason.
I don't want to say it's just Caucasian people. There's some Oreo cookies out there.
Oh yeah, there definitely
some graham crackers out there.
There definitely are a few brainwashers out there, but they're just like that Candace Owens girl. She's the number one.
Their own people down. You know what I'm saying?
You know, but even still,
it go across the board here. You know
but even, I mean, think about it. That all these people are showing their racist colors, and it's all being taken out on these races, with the exceptions of the people doing it.
The fact that he can say everything from grabbing pussy to what he just said.
Can you imagine Obama saying that shit?
Yeah, the fact that he can just say everything that he said.
They lost his mind when he wore a tan suit in the office.
Exactly. They wouldn't even let him have a black
beard. He couldn't even wear a tan suit
every day. But Mike, I understand what you're saying, man. You know, I totally get what you're saying. But the thing is with this all this homophobia and all these people out here, spilling all this, hatred and all this shit, is that no, they want us to retaliate in a violent way.
Honestly, we should.
And
how many black people have died on some bullshit by a white cop?
And that's what,
or a white person.
But then that's what we have to do
on the anniversary of the Eric Garner.
But that's what we have to do. So we don't look. So we're not looked at as savages. They are the savages, and so. But we've come far enough. I do believe that we're gonna outlast this. Fucking Doc.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Come far
Malcolm
enough,
X,
but not
baby.
far enough.
Malcolm X over here.
Malcolm Hayne. I don't
I still
sit
feel like we
with
have
my
ways
back
to
to the
go.
day to the door to this day because of Malcolm. So I totally get what you're saying, but I really think that we've gone intellectual. We have enough intellectual know-how now that we don't have to go out and shoot and kill and
But we need to figure something out.
Yeah,
Because the next black person that dies,
and
it's his fault when he did the right thing because some white person felt in danger.
To your point, I'm sorry, Kat. To your point, Kat, he's saying this about these 4 specific women, AOC and other women, for a specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're on a come up. Like these 4 women that he leveled these comments at, they're a real threat to his power. So I just want people to keep that in mind, that there are people on a come up, and this is his way. This is his way at attacking, taking them down. Exactly.
I agree. And,
absolutely.
On another side,
Scary.
Yeah, if they was part of his cabinet, they would have been in and out already.
Right.
Already
his
on the new employment line.
In and out.
No one in his cabinet.
And his cabinet is starting to grow with more women.
No one in his cabinet started in his cabinet at the beginning of his day.
And no one in this cabinet is fucking qualified. You see, you look at the people's job, and then you look at where they come from, and it's like, I signed up to be a truck driver, and the only thing I've ever driven was a fucking tricycle. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
no
like,
one is qualified to do
it's
any
like
of that.
It's like a president of Pizza Hut getting the job at the NFL.
Yeah, it really
what the
is.
fuck?
None of the qualifications.
It's like, what do you doing? What do you know about football?
Exactly.
Anyway,
I mean, it's a dead issue. We got a former, world's reality TV, WWF wrestler, failed community college president. I mean, what did you expect?
Oh, who's that?
Trump. He used to play in the WWF. You don't remember watching him getting powerbombed?
Nah, he was the host.
So what? No.
It was like 2 WrestleManias.
But he was still what president would you think would be in the WWF and then president of the United States?
A lot of presidents. I'm a wrestling head, so I know.
Oh, okay. All right.
There are a lot of presidents that are bobbing in WWE, but you're not gonna tell me.
It just shows that there's no exceptions.
All right, but even reality
There's no
TV.
exceptions.
I agree. Fuck Trump. Anyway, let's go.
Basically, the summary.
New topic. Okay, so while we was out, we never got a chance to talk about this. It's about the When They See Us documentary, and also the movie is out on Netflix right now, where Yusuf, Kevin, and Tron, and Corey Raymond, who was a part of the jockey case in 1989, 1990, who basically got, falsely claimed of raping this white woman that was shot at Central Park. And come to find out years later, it was false confessions with the Central Park 5, and they got released on that. They got a pardon on that. And from me seeing the movie and from everybody else seeing the movie, what are your thoughts about the documentary or the movie, and what is the lesson learned?
Well, doesn't this woman have a book out too about it or something?
Yeah,
it made millions.
Yeah, there's books and.
She had books before that talking about the case, and she made millions of dollars off of it. Like, she was right.
So I think she should be in prison for false charges. I think she should be stripped of all of her money.
The prosecutor, right?
Yeah.
Was this the prosecutor or the victim?
The both.
The
What victim? She's not a victim. She's a liar.
The prosecutor
No,
and the
How
lawyer
do
should
we
be
know
shut
that,
down.
though?
The prosecutor and the lawyer should be
What?
locked
That
up.
she made up the charges?
Yeah.
Against these kids?
The prosecution. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Listen,
Somebody
it's
admitted
not
to
making up
it.
the
That's how we
charges.
know she made them up.
The Central Park 5 admitted of doing the crime.
They were
coerced.
coerced.
They were coerced.
Yes,
Yeah.
Coerced.
they was
They
forced
admitted
to
under stress.
get Mack outside. Mack is outside right now. That's
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, they were young and the police?
They was young.
kinda-
They was teenagers. They had no
They were
parents.
14.
They had no
15,
lawyers.
16 years old.
They had no parents, no lawyers. While they was being held for like 18 hours to the
They
precinct.
didn't eat. They didn't
They
have
didn't
anything to
eat,
drink.
no sleep, nothing like that. So they just wanted to go the fuck home.
Right.
They
So
just
whatever you
wanted
need
to
me to
pin
do,
the case on someone.
whatever you need me to do, whatever you need me to say, I'm ready to go the fuck home.
Absolutely.
So the cops knew better than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They know the Central Park 5 rights. But at the end of the day, they just wanted to do their job and get a confession out of the guys saying that they did it. At the end of the day, even on the prosecutor, not the prosecutor, but the lawyer that was defending this lady, the jogger, saying that their stories doesn't match.
Right. Right.
But
Absolutely.
she still went along with it.
Absolutely.
So everybody who was involved in this case,
They
from
knew they
the
were doing
attorney to the lawyer of this lady or whatever, they need to be locked up.
Yeah, I think it was twofold when I saw some of the miniseries, but just knowing the case itself, man, I think that at the time, New York City and the '89 and all that.
It's a rough time in there.
Yeah, it's rough time in NYC, and so something happens to a Caucasian woman. I think she was was she out of town or was she?
No, she lived in NYC.
She was okay.
She lived here.
She was a local lady. So anyway, she was a white woman.
Yeah,
And so something
jogging.
something happens like that. We need somebody. I don't give a fuck who it is. Somebody needs to be held accountable to cut down on the public outcry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they was trying to do, And so since these 5 boys was conveniently in the area, and they were black boys, so now we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. We get a chance to convict some of these wildlings and some of these crazy ass kids. That's not my words. That's their words. Get them off the street. At the same time, we find the rapists and the people who assaulted a white woman.
Right.
And so they were fit to be railroaded.
Right.
And that's what they did.
Right. And for the head detectives, one thing that she said in the documentary and and also the movie, they was in a park. They must have did something. Just the mindset. You got a bunch of black teenagers in the park. Oh, they must have did something.
Right.
Wrong.
They must have been doing something
Wrong.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, man. These kids were they were.
They were just kids.
Yeah, they were conveniently
They were just
railroaded,
kids.
like, for real.
And
the one
tragic.
kid's dad actually convinced him to like sign the agreement as far as confessing to the murder. To the assault, thinking that he was gonna go free or something like that. And then that just goes back to show you the type of legal representation that they didn't have and resources that they didn't have and guidance through the judicial system that they didn't have. And so they just preyed on the kids, and luckily luckily in the end they were exonerated and all that. But money, man, you can't get time back. Time is what it is. Your life is what it is. All the money in the world can't take back you being locked up and having to endure the things that you did at that younger age. It stole their youth.
Right.
There are so many components that make up this story, and I feel like I go back again to the narrative. The white woman is depicted as the victim. History shows that this is a repetition of history all over again. Mm-hmm. So the narrative had to stick in order to find someone guilty, because the cops at that time, they just wanted to get this case closed. Mm-hmm. So they were running out of time, and they wanted to get the murderer. They wanted to get the person who did this heinous crime.
Right.
So there's the component of the narrative, and then there's the component of race again.
Right.
Black, Hispanic kids. Again, this narrative plays very well today. Mm-hmm. It's very relevant. Absolutely. So I feel like the narrative hasn't really changed as much as kind of the people who play a part of the story.
Absolutely. So
it's unfortunate that they had to spend so much time in jail for something that they really did not commit. But then back in the days, New York was really, it's still a concrete jungle. Mm-hmm. It still plays a role. So I feel like a lot hasn't really changed because the narrative plays such a big role that it really kind of sticks.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else got something about Mack? Got something to say about Central Park 5?
Yeah, not too much more to add to the conversation.
Wait, before you start, Mack is in the building. The Mack Daddy is in the building. I just want to put that out there. Okay, what's up, Mack?
That's all right. I just into silent. Covert ops.
Step the transit system. All right, go ahead, man.
Not too much to add to it other than what's been said. Of course, with the narrative, and how can you put a dollar value on someone's freedom that's been taken away from them. And the Central Park 5, thankful for Ava DuVernay for making that piece, but there's been countless others that this has been done to. You have, I believe you had the brothers down in Baltimore that did about 20 years for a crime they never committed.
Right.
You know, so.
No, keep talking.
Yeah, so, you know, you have situations like that, and there's one that I'm familiar with that happened in Georgia. The man was exonerated approximately 7 years ago for a rape he never committed.
Right.
The man was a well-known landscaper in the area. Even the white and black community all loved him. But again, as she was saying, you had this white teenage female that cried rape. Time goes by, he's lost his job, his family, his home. Only one of his children kept in touch with him. Now the girl wants to come forward admitting that she falsified her claim.
Right.
And the reason she came forward was because her uncle, the one that actually did commit the rape, wanted to confess on his deathbed. And thankfully, this man, he had a sheriff officer that believed him, stayed on the case even when he became a lawyer, and they still had access to the DNA evidence. It was put in cryogenic storage.
Right. Wow.
So they exonerated him. Of course, they wanted him to say, well, we'll let you go today for not suing. So what's 6 months compared to the past 15 years?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So,
It's definitely prevalent.
all right. So we're going to take a quick break real quick. We're going to set up on the mic for the Mack Daddy. And we'll be back in a quick moment.
Break.
So 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna go to this next segment called cultural tolerance. And
Cultural tolerance.
yes, Kat, can you tell us what cultural tolerance is?
So
Okay.
so lately, I've been doing a lot of, you could say a lot of heavy work on myself, and just kind of becoming awakened to a lot of things that I've seen that have become so awakened because of the society that we live in. Basic definition for people who don't know, cultural tolerance, I defined it as toxic patterns or behaviors that are tolerated or excused in our cultures for the sake of tolerating the people that we love. So, for example, I'm just going to give a quick example.
Go ahead.
In the Hispanic Caribbean culture, especially the Dominican and Puerto Rican culture, the female daughter is held to a higher standard than the male son. Now, when I say that, the son is held to
Higher standard.
the son is held to a higher standard, but the female has to be able to.
She has to be perfect.
Yeah.
She has to be perfect. So let's just say this. Okay. The son gets mad because he asks for money, and the mom doesn't want to give it to him, but he curses at her, and she can't stand it. So she's gonna give him the money so he can shut the hell up.
Right.
And as time grows up, the child, continues to grow and continues to do the same shit and grows older. He's in relationships with women.
Doing the same thing.
He's doing the same thing.
Not being held accountable.
So when it comes to that point and where it's become so out of control, the mom has the awareness of what's going on, but she doesn't have any more. She doesn't have any more power, and to be able to kind of correct him or to enlighten him to do better, because that behavior has been tolerated for so long that it's so hard to repair that. And then that child is pretty much hindered in relationships with women.
Right. Go ahead.
I think I know what you're talking about, Kat, and I think we see those behaviors, in a lot of different cultures and within our own families and all that. And being in New York City, man, there's a plethora of nationalities and all this, and so I try to treat people fairly across the board. But one of the cultural intolerance that you talked about, I was in Macy's one day, and I got some cool Arab friends, Muslim friends, and it was a lady in there, and she had the traditional gear on and all this, and she had she had her kids. Yeah, she had her kids with her. It was a boy and a girl. And so the girl was like, looking at the fixtures and looking at the clothing that was on the rack, and she was just being a 6-7-year-old girl. And the brother, this motherfucker was like the Tasmanian devil, man. He was all over the fucking place. He was running underneath fixtures, tipping shit over, and then when the mom finally kind of caught up with him and tried to corral him, he spoke to her in a different language, and I don't speak the language that he was speaking, but I know he cursed her ass out. And so I was like, damn, I can't sit up and listen to all this. But anyway, so I ended up catching up with the young guy at a different rack and all that, and I cussed his ass out. I know he was only 10 years old, but I said, get your ass off the floor. You know what I mean? You don't be doing all that. You know what I mean? And I do believe that in the black culture that shit wouldn't happen. I don't know about the white culture, but in that culture, I do believe that the male is not held to a higher standard, but gets away with a lot more. Isn't held accountable as much. Isn't held accountable as much. And so I saw this, and I just wanted to correct it. There wasn't a dad or a male around, and whether he was going to be around or not, I still would have probably forced myself to say something.
Like I've seen, and I know what you're talking about, right? Like I have a younger sister. When I was younger, I was able to bring however many girls I wanted to the crib, you know what I mean? And my sister, her bringing a single boyfriend was a big deal. I'm from Nigeria, my parents are Nigerian, whatever. So, I mean, we're not held to the same account in certain aspects. Something I guess a little bit more personal to me, I don't know if this counts, but I guess Africans and just a lot of other cultures too, when it comes to their kids and what their kids do for a living, is they want their kids to be successful and make money, right? So it's always doctor, lawyer. I've been a film fan for all of my life, and I was taught, right or wrong, that when I was coming up, it was only John Singleton and Spike Lee, and so you shouldn't fuck with film. Got into something that you can make money at. And it took me a while, a couple of years ago, until I finally, said fuck it and got into film and trying to do my own thing right now. But I believe that's a toxic thing that happens in a lot of households, and a lot of African households. I've had experience with that, of just parents teaching their kids to be safe, too safe, in my opinion. So
not letting them grow.
Yeah, not like, well, who knows how many Spike Lees that, or Ryan Coogler's that we're missing out on because they were told not to get into something that doesn't isn't crowded with black people. So
I think I should rephrase cultural tolerance to cultural intolerance.
Intolerance, right?
So I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and I can co-sign both your commentaries on that, because for me, even though I grew up, my older sibling, my brother, we're 10 years. I'm 10 years his junior. So coming up, I was held to this microscope where all the BS he gotten into, I'm being chastised for it before I can even walk. And the same thing with the career path. Me, I grew up, I was always creative, music, arts, drawing, but the angle my father wanted me to take was something a little bit more constructive.
Right.
He's thinking like, be an engineer, be a mason, do this, do that. And those type of mentalities in our households can stifle your child's growth. I'm blessed and thankful that I had the godparents that I have. My godfather, R.I.P., he was a photographer, jazz musician, athlete. So his influence was like my conduit for that. Also growing up in Jersey in the multicultural neighborhood that I was in, I've witnessed what you mentioned, Kat. Going to visit my friends, how they were treated compared to their sisters. You know, it's almost as if the boys, no matter where they fell on the age scale, they can't do any wrong. But the daughters in the family,
Oh, forget about it.
it was like,
It's like Judgment Day.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
It's Judgment Day.
Yeah, and even I think from my experience looking on the outside with Latino households, it can be a tricky line to walk for women.
Right.
Especially when things such as skin complexions come into play
Right.
as well.
Right.
You know, I've experienced that from my friends.
And to piggyback on what you're saying, a lot of the cultures, the African culture and the Hispanic, Latino culture, a lot of our parents, they raise us to be successful. They want us to be successful. But then we realize it's not just about success.
Yeah.
So we don't really know how to kind of live beyond the frame of, I want to be successful, I want to be the best, I want to be rich. But what about relationships?
Right.
What
And who
about
defines success too? You know
and
what I
who
mean?
and
You know?
and I feel like a lot of that comes from the upbringing that our own parents, our own
Right.
families have. They pass that down to us. So then we struggle with our own image, our own definition of self and success and life, and then we kind of have to kind of like find for ourselves.
Yeah, it's generational wounds basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Never
Yeah.
been addressed.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
With me, I grew up a little different. I grew up with a little group revolutionaries and all that. So I grew up. My mother was a Black Panther. Also, my uncles on my mother's side and all that, and also a Black Hebrew Israelites. And on my father's side, they grew up in the civil rights movement and all that, Martin King and all that. So I grew up with all that mixture in my household. So me, I always lean towards the Black Panther, the Nation of Islam, and all that stuff like that. So it was all about do for yourself, and then everything else will come in place. So it was all about you go work for the man, but also when you getting a check from the man, is also what you're doing with that check. You know what I'm
Put it
saying?
back
So-
into yourself, into your neighborhood.
Put it back into yourself and make sure you got something going for yourself. This is one of the reasons why I started the podcast. So I want to, try to make it come a little bigger than that. So
Absolutely.
you're right about the whole culture tolerance and all of that. We got a lot of things we got to shake off health wise. Eating all that the pork and all
Chicken.
that stuff. Fried foods and all of that.
Chitlins.
There's certain
Right.
there's certain in certain documents that there's certain diets you go by, and it actually works. Either you go by the Nation of Islam diet or you go by the Hebrew Israelite diet or whatever. There's certain diets you go by and you can lose a lot of weight and also eat healthy. So we have to find a way to come to a certain solution that everybody agrees on and go by a certain way how to eat and how to live.
Hey, I'm sorry. Do you think the black folks diet is getting better?
I don't know what a black folk diet is.
I'm saying like the Israelites have a diet.
Everybody has a diet. So the Hebrew Israelites have a diet, and it's simply no seafood.
And I was saying that
I'm
facetiously, but-
sorry. I was getting ready to attack that a little bit because it wouldn't be the black diet. It would be the Black American diet, the
Right.
one that they subscribe for us that has
Absolutely.
all of these
Yeah.
salts
That's
and
what
calories.
absolutely,
and
because I
stuff
think
to
we're
slow
eating
you
better. That's where I was
down
going
and
with it.
wind you up in the hospital. It's not necessarily. I mean, our traditional stuff because if it was from Ghana, West Africa, you'd be eating more rice, more natural grains. If you were from
like you said,
Nigeria, you'd be eating more non-bleach items. You wouldn't be entering all these chemicals in you.
From the earth, yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's why I was
so many
starting with
diseases
this.
out
there.
I think black folks are starting to eat a lot better. You know what I mean? I think we caught up in the. I think they caught up in the stereotype of the chicken and all that old
Well,
shit.
a lot of people are moving more towards the fish and stuff like that.
Well, I'm talking about fried chicken because we were talking
big
about
chicken,
chitlins and all that
no,
old,
chicken
roasted
stew,
chicken,
all that
all
stuff.
that old crazy.
There's certain ways to
to
come up with a certain diet. I lost a lot of weight in a couple of weeks and all
I've
that. So
noticed.
thank you. Everybody was telling me, every time I walk down the street, can't touch this because my pants are so big.
Right.
It's like,
I want to say that I think the world may be eating better, or the United States may be eating better, but then the obesity rate is still like out of control.
Well,
so I don't. That's why.
In certain
I brought the whole-
certain cultures, like if you talk to most black families and tell them I'm a vegan, right? I'm not a vegan personally. If you tell them I'm a vegan, they look at you and what's that? Like, and after several explanations, they'll still be confused. Right? That's how ingrained a certain way of eating is.
And not them full of shit. Let's call it what it is. Oh, I'm a vegan, but I eat fish.
You're pescatarian.
Yeah, I was like, that's another word for that one. I know there is.
But just
the flesh of a fish.
But just the inability for certain cultures to understand and comprehend a healthier diet.
Or some of them don't want to.
Or don't want to.
Or some of them just don't want to.
Right.
They like it.
In my personal opinion, I mean, working in restaurants and looking at all this food and stuff, it's not necessarily what you eat. Like, you can eat anything. Meat, you can eat fish, you order that. It's just how much and how you're preparing these things that is really gonna mess up your interns and your internal organs and stuff like that, or make you obese or whatever the case may be. Because you can eat a steak every week and not be all right and still be 150 pounds and never gain weight. It's just how much exercise you do. How much of that red meat are you eating?
Definitely.
How well is it cooked? I mean, anything well done is gonna take forever to get through your body. Medium rare, even though most black people will never touch anything that's still bleeding, in and out of you in no time, you know? Like, and you have real nutrients in it. You didn't turn it into charcoal. But on that same note, there are some cultural tolerances or whatever we were talking about.
Intolerance.
Yes, that should be kept. Really quick, in my personal opinion, like when I was growing up in the years before, you know, I didn't used to see young black children acting a fool in the street. If you did, you got the shit knocked out of you by your parents or someone who knew somebody in your family. Now these
You
days,
can't do that these days, man.
No, but that's because you let someone else's culture influence your culture.
You're right.
Oh, and all these kids,
And that
high
was the
school
problem.
kids, to be drinking these Starbucks,
Yeah,
frappuccinos. I'm like, you haven't even hit your puberty.
Our kids were a little bit smarter and more educated when we kept them closer and let them know, listen, you can't just walk around and say whatever you want to say to everybody. You can't just expect everyone to want to sympathize with your emotions. Like, some of that you got to keep inside. And I'm not telling you to turn into a ticking time bomb, but don't go crying to everybody thinking you're going to get handouts. Now they do this, and then when they get slapped in the face or a cop is wilding out on them, they think, oh, what did that, like, there's something wrong with the world. No, there's something a little bit wrong with the way you're looking at it. I mean, I'd love for us all to be equal. But in reality, we are not all equal.
Exactly.
And no, a lot of the kids these days don't understand that.
Good way to end that, Mike. It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen.
What time is that? What time is it?
Hold on.
It's that time.
That's the wrong time.
It's the wrong time.
That's the wrong hour.
Somebody must be
Is it the
not
cup time?
Timex at home. Something like that.
Is it refill time?
Yeah.
It's always refill time.
I got
It's
that
time to
watch
cut
from-
that shit out.
I got
you
that
know what I'm
watch
saying?
from the cereal
So,
bar.
yo, Dad, real quick.
Yo,
Tell
what's
them
up?
what that
What's
shit
up?
out means.
All right.
Explain to the audience who is new to the crowd.
All right, y'all. So cut that shit out. Like, you know, it's a bunch of shit that's going on in your everyday life. You know, it could be with you, anybody. It could be something in the hood, something at your job, the acronym league, or anything that people really need to cut that shit out.
I want to start.
And so this is the chance to really get it off your chest and tell these MFs that this shit got to come to a halt.
Right.
Stop it. And on the agenda, the MTA keeps an agenda item on that motherfucker.
I think they have an honorary seat.
Yeah, they got an honorary stay.
And-
No token or swipe card needed. So if anybody want to jump on that shit, they can and come back to me, or I can start it out.
Talk something, Dad. Talk something.
You know what? Mine is a combination of the MTA and the motherfuckers that need to cut that shit out. Excuse my language. But, you know, like, look here. I'm trying to get to the job and shit, you know. And it's the fuckers that's holding the door, man. I mean, come on. You can't hold the fucking door for all of Brooklyn now. I mean, come on. It's a lot of motherfuckers in this borough, man. And it's another train coming, like the man said. Let the fucking door go. I mean, you know, if you could, you know, on the train and one person come, you can kind of hold it. But 8, 9 motherfuckers coming, no, man. You gotta cut that shit out. I'm late for work. Vinny looking for me. Jeff texting me and shit. So anyway, that's my shit for the MTA and cut that shit out, y'all.
Who next?
Let the door close.
Okay, mine's is a little bit more on a personal note. Mine's is cut that shit out. I've been in the restaurant business forever, and I respect and appreciate everyone in the restaurant business, all those who work, and everyone's culture, you know, and your habits and everything.
All right,
really
get to it, Mike.
If you're gonna work in a restaurant business and you know it's hot, you know, and you have a little funk going underneath you because of your religion, you know, you don't want to rock the deodorants like that. There's other things you could do. You could do the fresh lemon with some rock salt up underneath your jump off. You could jump off the line 2 or 3, you know, every 2 hours, whatever, reapply. Like, you gotta be courteous to the other people around you. You wouldn't like it if I was walking around smelling like smelly balls. I don't want to smell your underarms all day.
Exactly.
Like, you know, we're in a small area. Cut that shit out. Do something about it. Like,
Get
that's
him
not
running.
right.
Funky as a goat.
It's not right. I respect your culture, but like, come on, respect my space.
All right, it's my turn.
Wow, what you got, Jeff?
Burger King.
Burger King.
With them dollar tacos.
Oh,
They got tacos now?
Exactly. Cut that shit out. And everybody who swear they up on fashion and all that stuff, you really got the latest fashion on and your ass still rocking a fanny pack.
Oh.
Cut that shit out. Especially the ones that are rocking the clear fanny packs where I can see every item in that motherfucker. Cut that shit out.
TSA.
I say you can see Blistex, you can see tampons and condoms all in your fucking back. Cut that shit out. And last but not least, you know, the MTA, right? They got signal problems and, you know, the police investigations. Yeah, we all know.
Always having problems.
Yeah, cut that shit out.
Come
Who
on.
next?
Yep. What we got?
All right, I have 2 things.
What you
Right.
got, Cat?
Get him, Cat.
What you
In
got?
my neighborhood, I've become more aware, no offense to the black girls in the Bronx, but they wear their sandals with the fur. And they think that's like
That is
an
not just in the
actual.
Bronx. That's everywhere.
That's everywhere, but I've been seeing it more and more everywhere, but especially in the Bronx, because that's where I stay the most.
Sandals with
Yo,
the furs
you
on
don't
top.
say put balls on them
No.
fuzzy.
Wait,
Cat
they
fur
stepped
on
on
the
a treasure
Those are the
trove?
summer Uggs.
Yeah, rat fur to have on
Those
top.
are not for you to go out, honey. Those are not sandals.
that hasn't hit Queens
They're
yet.
not
Those are not
Hasn't hit
sandals,
Queens yet.
okay? They're
Listen,
not gonna
listen.
last
Sound like
in the
28
street.
days later, like a virus.
Just went by
That
the
shit not
lights
gonna
now.
last in the
What's going
street.
on with it?
That should stay home.
Go ahead. What's the
And
second one?
second of all, yo, some people still live as if they're still living back in the Caribbean islands, and they forget there's people that live beneath them, and their kids run like horses, and you can't catch that sleep.
Yeah.
Cut that shit out.
Thank you.
Okay.
I hope
Anybody else?
my neighbor
Anybody
listens
else?
to that shit.
Everybody good?
No, everybody got to
Sticking-
go. Somebody got to go.
Sticking with the theme of the MTA.
Yeah.
So this goes out to the people, that last person where you're standing by the door in a full train and that one person thinks it's your space and wants to push. Like physical contact, those people need to cut that shit. I got advice for everybody, for the people standing by the door and somebody's trying to push, just turn around and look at them. They'll stop.
Cut
That's
that shit
all
out.
it takes.
Right.
Like if there's no space in the train, don't push. Wait for the next one.
Stare him down.
Just
Cut
give
that
that
shit out.
stare.
I was
Just
gonna
give them the
say-
stare and they'll back
Gotta
off.
stare him down.
Exactly. Cut that shit
Like
out.
really.
What did
Right.
Mac? What do we have from Mac?
You want me?
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, we want to hear
I
you
might-
out.
I
We
might
got to
sound
hear
like
that.
the
You left
grumpy
you
old
last.
man.
No, we got to hear that, baby.
Man, New Jersey Transit with their 50-minute layovers. Sitting on the tracks today.
That's something recent.
Man.
Cut that shit
Oh,
out.
and another ladies, please don't take this the wrong way.
Uh-oh.
I'm right here
But-
too.
It's already.
No, you're good, Kat.
Oh, okay.
But these back alley butt jobs and sundresses
Oh.
are not a
What is
good
the back
combination. You know, they
Like
get
the bad
these
butt job.
these DIY inflator butts.
Oh god.
I seen
Oh
some.
my god,
I
in
seen
those
some
tights.
situations
Like insane
this
fools.
week,
That's
And those see-through tights.
and you
Wait,
see.
I
It just messes up the whole thing for sundresses in the summertime.
No,
see-
you're right about that.
You see a
You're right
female
about
walking,
that.
it looks like she got 2 loaves of Wonder Bread. It's like you don't even have the contour. Like that letter P is just like a Lego block. Like click, click.
It doesn't match the rest of the body.
No.
was gonna say I saw one that looked like a basketball
No
and a
jiggle
soccer
or any
ball
of that.
all in
No,
one basket. It was
not at
terrible.
all.
It's like all lopsided.
Not at all. And
What's
the other
going rate
one,
for a
No
butt
more.
job?
No more, man.
last one, people, if you have to sneeze, have to cough, do the little dab pose or something. I'm getting so tired of people just coughing out in the air as I'm walking by, and you see the mist, and I can only hold my breath, but for so long. I'm getting up there in age. I'm like, damn, just stop that shit. Cut it.
Like some aqua boogie shit.
Look,
Yeah.
I carry the spray Lysol with me. Every time somebody do that, I'm like, and there you go. And I got the little mask to go on your face. I don't play when I get on the
start
train.
doing like they do in Japan and Korea.
I have them. I'll give you one of my extras.
Alright, so we're gonna do the Saucy Bowl. Let's break in the show off. Who's going first? Young Dad going
Wait,
first?
what are we
No,
doing?
I'm gonna just shake it up. Anybody want to go first?
You know, I'll go first. Ladies
Anybody
first.
more? I got a good shake for you first.
Ladies first.
All right, you go, Cat. Let's see what you got in that saucy bowl. In that saucy
Gotta make this quick.
What you got, Cat?
Let's see.
Nope, that's a lie. No.
Little
Oh, Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid
Show talk.
and Black Superstars.
Okay, so no, I know. All right, I know. I
right
wrote it weird and everything. But let me explain. Okay, so the new Little Mermaid that's coming out is the Little Mermaid is supposed to be played by a black actress.
Oh yeah.
And they are losing their mind over this. Just like when Genie was replaced with Will Smith, and they were gonna do another movie where they was gonna make the main character. But I don't understand why we can't have a couple good movies. Like,
It's a simple rule, right? If you're doing casting, right? If the role has anything to do with the actual character, like you can't cast a white Malcolm X, right? Because it's important that he's black.
Okay,
But when you're casting a mermaid, which isn't real. It
okay,
doesn't-
with a
it
Jamaican
doesn't
crab
matter if it's
friend.
white or black.
With the West Indian crab friend, I would think he'd have a little, like.
Which is a bit wrong.
And the ocean, and depending where the ocean is
Yeah.
at,
And
it could
like I'm saying,
Can I say something?
Right.
Can I say something real quick about this whole thing about Little Mermaid and all that shit? Let me tell you something. White folks have been playing black characters for fucking decades.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Liz Taylor playing fucking Cleopatra. Listen,
Oh, Gods of
listen.
Egypt was the
Listen,
worst thing.
Scarlett
What you
Johansson and
pick-
Ghost in the
what you
Shell.
put in the-
Oh God!
What you
come
pick
on.
in the universe is what you get out of it.
Right.
And this is payback.
Yeah.
So all these black characters playing white characters in these major TV shows and movies, it's payback.
Oh, I can't wait to. If that's the case, I can't wait till the Asian community get a hold of some of these movies. I mean,
they gave them flack over Dr.
Avatar
Strange.
and all of these is all white characters. Ain't none of them. Wait, in the story.
I don't know for
It's
them.
payback.
I'm gonna tell you something to get ready for. It's from the other side. As far as a black mermaid is concerned, the first joke is gonna be that black people can't swim. So seriously,
That's not true. That's not
no,
true.
Of course, it's not true.
We're mostly
Of course
water
not.
rats. We stay at
No,
the bottom. We
no,
should be
no.
good.
Black women are like getting their hair wet.
No.
Yeah,
well,
that's
no
what-
shit. What you do? They can't be no damn mermaid.
That's-
What you gonna do? Stay
that's
on
the
top of the water?
stereotype.
No, it's totally stereotype. But I'm saying that's coming from the other side. Get ready for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're gonna be upset than a motherfucker. But we already know that's a stereotype. How can she be a black mermaid because she can't swim? That's gonna be one of the first back of house jokes.
But you know,
got
I
heavy
think,
bones.
I think
Yep.
it's going to be
Heavy
another
bones.
another topic.
Who's
People
next?
going to try to approach this Little Mermaid. I haven't heard no announcements, but the love interest.
Okay.
Who's gonna be the love interest?
right.
Is it going to be the typical
White prince?
Caucasian prince?
Right.
Ah.
It's
You
gonna
know,
be
creature from
Zack
the black
and
man.
Or
I.
they
Yeah.
get African.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, or
Or
then,
some crazy
then
shit.
also
Yeah,
like
I
with
mean,
Sebastian, are they gonna play Sebastian as a Caribbean?
Yeah,
Or-
stereotype. Yeah.
Who's next? I'm sorry. Who's next?
I
Go
don't
ahead.
know.
Go ahead. Go that
Alright,
Go that
you
way.
go ahead.
But isn't that something though? You know what I mean? No, you're absolutely right.
Okay, this is.
Loch Ness monster for us.
What you got, man?
It's fucked up.
Okay,
Mike.
I got myself twice in a row.
What you got, man?
Okay, so I need a little bit more information. Maybe you guys can help me out.
Okay.
But the trips to DR and the tourists being killed with Hennessy or
my
liquor, like what's up with that? I've never
Let
been.
me just make this clear.
I finally got my money up to go.
Anytime soon.
No
Don't
shit.
believe the hype.
that's
What's
But
going
I-
on though?
Don't
Okay, so
believe the hype.
last I
something
heard,
going on now.
a lot of tourists who went to the Dominican Republic were staying at a resort and they had ordered some liquor and it was the brown liquor, but the liquors were watered down with gasoline and all four. I think it was like four or more.
Man, it's been people trying
Guess
to get
no. I
couples
just know black
died
people
within
died
like
from
12
black
hours of consuming this. One guy was on the plane on his way back. The plane had to turn around. He died before they landed.
That's crazy.
So now it's like less than $100 to go to DR right now.
That's crazy.
That's because they think you might die.
You know,
I'm not eating I'm not fucking drinking.
But yeah,
If I was to go to the DR,
I still want to go though.
Listen,
Would that stop you from even traveling to DR?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because the history of
If I can't
I'm
stay
not-
in
I'm not
a
people who can't
resort
do
and be
this.
safe,
What's the
and
history,
I like to
please?
go into the community.
I
I
say
can't trust the
Let me
resort.
say this. I know there's a history standpoint with the whole the Dominicans and the Haitians going on over there, and, you know.
That's always been
Black people coming over there and all that shit. And listen, I'm not getting involved in that shit. Y'all
Right.
motherfuckers gotta figure that shit out.
Right. Well, I know.
Either y'all Haitians or Dominicans. Pick one.
I don't know much about. I
It
don't
should
know
just
much
be
about
the
the DR.
Haitians.
I know it's beautiful. I do know that. But on the caution tip, it's motherfuckers dropping like flies coming from over there, man. You know what I mean? And so on that, the people are beautiful and all that. But until they get control of that shit, it may be some conspiracy theories about this what's going on and this what's going on. But until they find out, every motherfucker that been over there fucking around, dropping dead. I heard about the dude on the plane. It was a lady's, some lady's brother. And she's a media mogul or something. It was a famous, somebody famous.
She was on Shark Tank.
Yeah,
one of the hosts from Shark Tank.
the lady on Shark Tank. Her brother went over there and he died. It was a dude from Detroit that just went over there and got like violently sick when he came back. So until they get that shit under control, because it could be
But
like.
who are they showing? Who are they showing as the victims?
It's just,
There's a lot of black people.
That's
I know
why-
that.
Okay,
It's
okay.
There's a lot of black
Okay.
Americans. I know
So
that.
that's gonna get the most attention.
yeah.
Anything, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a devil's advocate, but we've seen this narrative play all over again. It's race plays such a huge card when it comes to this.
Right.
Black people in general are now being the main tail of attention.
No, I agree with that. I just think that whatever is going on, it's either one or two things. Either somebody is sabotaging something, or it really is an epidemic that they can't figure out. And so until they figure out either part, if it's criminal, that's one thing.
No,
If it's something that's like in the system, the water, whatever, they got to figure that shit out before I go. I wouldn't take a free trip to that motherfucker right now.
A couple of years
That's
ago,
true.
they had
A free trip, no?
I
cleansing
wouldn't-
going on in the
I wouldn't take a free
Dominican
trip, no.
Republic where they was kicking all the Haitians out. So,
Oh, really?
there was an
Okay.
ethnic cleansing going on in the Dominican Republic because the history between the Haitians and the
Right.
Dominicans over there. The people who know the history about the Dominican Republic, how they became the Dominican Republic, it used to be Haiti.
Right.
So
Exactly.
my thing is like I don't know, it's a self-hate
Christopher
thing.
Columbus, and then that plays another role in it.
Christopher came before that. I'm
But
talking
still,
about.
it still
I'm
plays
talking
that
about-
narrative for
I'm
people who
talking
don't
about-
want to know.
It's the mindset is
For people who don't want to know.
because
And then
I'm not
proves
saying
the mindset.
all Dominicans, but I'm saying some Dominicans have a mindset of self-hate, which we have a problem over here in America with.
Of course.
Or anywhere around the world. So that's the issue that need to get solved. And when people need to know the history or where they come from, and when they know the history where they come from, all that shit will stop.
Okay, so I forget what the question
think
was,
it'll
but I
get
want to hear
worse.
from these guys. Like, what do you guys think? I mean, like I say, my last comment was that I wouldn't take a fucking free trip there, only because it's so many unknown things that's going on. I got a family and shit like that. I just couldn't take a chance. If it's in the liquor bottle, maybe it's in the sand. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's a fucked up place to be, but I'm not going to take my chances. That's just all it is. I go to Coney Island.
The fact of the matter is that people are dying like in the most bizarre ways, right? It's not a blip. It's a trend.
Something's going on.
Something just needs to be figured out.
Yeah, I agree, because it seems like the common denominators are alcohol and pulmonary embolism.
Yeah.
Like, how many pulmonary embolisms are
you
there
have? Right.
for tourists going that apparently any other time they're healthy, get there, oh my God, I'm coming to join you, Elizabeth.
Right.
And you
But
check-
what's
and
going
you
to be
check
the
it
most
out.
believable? But what's going to be the most believable?
But locals aren't falling down.
No.
Dead
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
But that's
So it's
that's
going to be the
thing.
tourists. But
You know?
who are the
Well,
tourists?
somebody needs to come out with a
That
statement
plays a
saying
role.
that look here, this shit ain't racist. Because to me, it seems it's kind of like something.
Well, I think
Well, it was white people involved. I know it's some white
Yeah, I
people
was gonna
out
say
there.
Is it
just
Americans? They
Oh,
don't
okay.
like, they don't like Americans coming over there.
Right.
We need to know something. So somebody who's in that country, whoever representative or something like that, needs to come here and say, hey, this is what the fuck is going on. Educate us what the fuck is going on, and then we can solve it and
What
take it
if they're
from
being
there.
barred from?
Well, there
Being
may
barred from
be
what?
an economic political
never know.
angle to it.
You gotta say
Because
something.
one of the recent victims, a brother from Elizabeth, New Jersey,
Oh, yeah, I
and
heard that
by
too, yeah.
coincidence, I happen to know his cousin. This young man passed away. He was in his late 40s. Any other time healthy. But now he passed away in DR. They told them they did the autopsy, pulmonary embolism, didn't have a history of cardiac conditions. But he's Muslim. They didn't want to release his body to the family for a proper Muslim burial, pending their investigation. I suspect it's in fear if his body was transported back to the U.S. for a more detailed autopsy, that certain other elements may have been found out. Because too many bodies are turning up with the same prognosis. And I think there was one, a young girl from Venezuela, that the mother found also was having trouble breathing. And luckily, they were able to get her transported out of DR to another hospital in South America in time, and she survived.
Wow.
And you haven't heard nothing else about her story so far.
Exactly.
So I
So there's
think-
probably things
yeah.
that they probably don't want
Somebody
us
need
to
say
find
something.
out,
That's all I'm saying.
or they're hiding
Somebody gotta say
it for a
something.
I
reason.
agree.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Somebody
Either
need to say
way,
something.
DR is killing people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Let's-
All right.
Last
Saucy
one,
Bowl,
last one.
Okay, I'm gonna reach down and get one. I'm gonna get this one. Let me see what this says. I knew I could read on the way over here, so let's see if I can
With the public school.
Shout outs to public education.
PS 45.
Okay, all right.
MS 95.
This is a little departure away from the killing fields and all that. This question says, do you think there's such a thing as love at first sight? Do you
Really?
think
That's
that-
All right.
You want to shoot another one?
Yeah, I said it's
Another
such
question?
thing. Yeah, it's such thing.
Is it a such thing?
It's such thing at first.
Is it love or
Love
lust though?
It's
Yeah,
lust.
Lust.
Is
Love.
it love or lust?
It depends
I
on the
think-
person.
I think
It
there
depends on the
is
person.
It
lust.
depends on the person,
Yeah, I
but
don't
it's
believe
It
in
depends on the
lust.
person.
Yeah.
How-
It
so
can be
wait-
love first, that could be lust.
Okay, is it love or lust?
I
for
fell in
you?
love with a person that was in love at first sight.
First date.
And then I
First
regret-
sight.
I regret that shit.
You regret it?
Anyway,
Same here.
Did you get it?
of course.
Oh, I know. That's why you were in love.
I'm
It's
sugar
love,
baby.
love.
I'm gonna say it's lust.
Lust,
Both.
both. I'm gonna say it's lust.
Lust.
Agree.
All right, last one.
That's the sexy
One more.
nastiness. No, okay. Okay, what we got? Okay. This says top 5 boxers of all time.
No, I can't.
Oh,
Okay.
Muhammad Ali.
Let's yours go first.
Top 5 boxers of all time. I don't know many boxers. I know them when I see like HBO and shit like that.
Help me out.
But
Sorry.
top
I'll go
5.
first.
I'll go first. Let me go first.
Right.
I'm gonna say Muhammad Ali.
Right.
It's got to be the
one.
the major one. And then since my last name is Foreman and I love fucking hamburgers, it's got to
Okay.
be George Foreman.
Shout outs to the Foreman Grill.
Yeah,
Oh, they got a new one
Two
now.
words.
They got a new one
Put me
now.
some onions in this shit. The third one's got to be. It's got to be. I'm from Detroit, so I got to go with the hitman, Tommy Hearns.
Tommy Hearns.
you know
That's
what I
three.
mean?
That's three.
And since I saw him and my man have 2 good fights together in Vegas, I got to go with Sugar Ray is my number
Sugar
4.
Ray.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And like my man what Coming to America, somebody always got to bring up who they got to bring up. Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano. So I got to throw Rocky ass on there just for
here
the
we
Coming
go.
to America scene.
Mine's is pretty simple. I'll put Ali there.
Right.
And then
One.
it's Tyson.
What? That's it?
I'm a Tyson guy. I came
So,
up with it.
blasphemy.
God.
You left the living room
Blasphemy.
to get a drink in the kitchen. By the time you got back, the fight was
My
over.
God, fight was
You
over.
missed his fight.
Let me see
Yeah,
what
Tyson
I
was-
Yo, that used to piss me off. What a waste
I
of
may not
money.
get a full 5, but one, respect. Rest in peace, Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah.
Oh, word,
man,
definitely,
rest in peace, sweet
definitely.
pea, for real, man.
Definitely.
Hagler.
Oh man, marvelous Hagler.
Yeah.
Wow, let's not go.
Yeah.
Ali.
Oh yeah, float like a butterfly.
Sting like a bee.
Yeah. Tyson.
Yeah, fucking Tyson's a beast.
And I like Roy Jones.
Yes, Roy Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roy Jones. I
Yeah.
like Roy
I'm
Jones.
gonna go with Roy,
I like Roy Jones.
Mike.
Mike.
I'm gonna go with Sugar Ray Robinson,
Sugar Ray Robinson.
because
Okay.
he's the first one to kill somebody in the ring.
That's why he gets on you.
He gets the death of
Enough said. Enough said.
You got violent.
You got a
man.
body, okay?
Yeah.
I like Floyd,
Oh,
Miller,
Floyd is nice.
and I go with Muhammad at 5.
Oh shit. Okay.
May I inject that honorable mention?
No,
Jack-
no,
I'm
it's
gonna do
5.
it.
A 6-man
It's
award.
5, damn it.
Top five, man.
Now how you gonna
That's
deny
a
Jack
6-man
Johnson?
award.
It's a sin.
Oh, yeah,
Jack,
He's
just
just
gotta-
got Adam in. He's
gotta
like,
give him the honorable mention.
yeah, he's
Jack
an honorable
Johnson.
mention. Shout out to Jack Johnson and his family. Mike, that's my top 5 boxes.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Joe Louis.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go with
You
Evander
look us up.
Holyfield. I'm gonna go with
Blasphemy.
what? I'm gonna go with Manny Pacquiao.
Yo, what? Manny Pacquiao?
Yep.
He said,
Oh, he fights tonight.
Yeah, yeah, Mike Tyson and
Let's got a
Ali.
free pay-per-view tonight.
You cheated. He got a.
I like fights that actually take a while. You know, I don't want nothing that's over before I get my chips.
I don't have any.
You know,
Yeah, like, at least
I
one
want
boxer
something to
you
go
like.
back and forth.
Do you have a
Yeah,
favorite
one
boxer?
boxer you like?
do you have a
Good
favorite
punches.
boxer?
I know you got a boxer you like. Come on.
Muhammad Ali.
He's cute.
Floyd?
No, it's
Man.
not.
You don't
Oscar
got
De
no
La
Floyd
Hoya.
fans here?
No, I'm saying every woman got a boxer. Some person just
What
like,
about
I
Oscar?
think like this.
You
Cute.
know, Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar used to be a little
Yeah, Golden Boy.
Come on, Cat. Come on.
Oh,
One
you
person.
cheat like I
One
did.
boxer.
I
Ali.
got all kinds of
Wait,
pictures
wait.
here. You cheat like I did.
He's not here.
Yeah, my favorite boxer is Dino from the block, though.
Roy Jones probably had like the most sensational crime though.
I don't see
Yeah,
him
Roy
here,
Jones.
but
Roy Jones,
he's
nasty.
the legend, Muhammad Ali.
All right. He's on the top. All right. Any shout outs? Any shout outs?
Oh, absolutely,
Here we go.
man. Hey, is it over with?
It's
Damn,
over.
the show's over already? Okay,
Over.
I just want to give a shout out to everybody listening, wherever you're listening at, wherever you're listening, if you're in your car, on the beach, you see what I'm saying, at the crib, wherever you're at. Shout out to Inktown. Shout out to Brooklyn, the Acronym League, everybody in the ATL, and all that good old shit. Everybody, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, shout outs to Brooklyn Broadcasting Studio for having us here.
Thank
sir.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Queens.
Queens,
Shout out to Nigeria also.
All right.
Check me out on YouTube. I have a channel, Ill Minded Media. We do mini documentaries on all of the dope shit from the 90s, movies, music, television shows, so just check it out.
Got to plug them out. Plug them out.
Plug.
Like to give a shout out, just getting back from vacation, to my family down in Alabama where it's 96 degrees in the shade right now.
Alabama.
Shout out to the truck stops on I-95 for having toilet paper and clean bathrooms. Thank you.
Clutch.
Fresh on the road, right?
I know where we're at, Mike.
I like to give a shout out to all of you guys.
Instagram,
Thank
yeah,
you for
social media.
having me.
Right, yeah, shout out to us.
This is the first time in one of these kind of formats. Appreciate being included. Shout out to my girlfriend, Sierra Mosley, soon to be fiance. Working
What's
on
up,
that.
Sierra?
And just life, loving it.
Well, shout out to Renice,
Yeah,
wherever
what's
you
up?
are.
Yeah, but they say.
We love you.
Hey.
Miss you.
The Bronx, representing the Bronx,
Boogie.
the way,
Right.
Brooklyn, and to all the audience who's listening in, and check out your girl at vocal.media, where I am part of the blogging community
Right.
under profile name Kathleen Blanco.
All right,
Yes,
all right,
sir,
we got
yes, sir.
that.
Follow us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram at Saucy Conversations. What a Z at the end of it. Shout out to everybody coming through today. Shout out to Brooklyn Podcast Studios. Our anniversary episode is actually next month.
Yes.
August 3rd, we shooting and recording our anniversary episode. So shout out everybody who's going to be a part of that. Everybody who's a part of season 1 is going to be a part of that. We had to push it back a little bit because of schedule conflict. So we bring to y'all August 3rd. We're releasing it the next week after that.
Yes.
So we're going to keep giving this real shit. So it's Conversations. Episode 11. We out, baby.
Saucy
We out.
City.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
What up, though?